So I'll be talking on the management of epiretinal membranes. Now, epiretinal membrane is a fibrous proliferation on the retinal surface, which is typically idiopathic, but can also be secondary to retinal vascular diseases, uveitis, trauma, retinal detachment, or lasers. So this is seen as a highly reflective membrane on the retinal surface. With the retina gets a corrugated appearance, there is loss of the foveal contour. The retina may be thickened, there may even be frank edema. You see vascular distortion, retinal folds. In severe cases, there could be foveal ectopia and even a macular pseudohole. So epiretinal membrane can have a wide spectrum of presentation. It can just be a benign asymptomatic condition to debilitating metamorphopsia and central visual loss. Now, visual acuity and the patient's symptoms are the most important factors to consider in deciding whether to recommend vitrectomy in an eye with an epiretinal membrane. So there may be patients who have a thick membrane, but if they're maintaining good vision, you can leave those patients alone. And the OCT picture is important to prognosticate. So if you see this ellipsoid zone is intact, those are the patients who will get a favorable outcome after surgery. So these membranes can either be globally adherent or loosely adherent. Now, one thing to tell the patients is that the vision may not improve immediately after surgery. The improvement goes on for the next 5-6 months, and if the duration of the symptoms has been long, then the visual outcomes are worse. The surgery standard after doing a vitrectomy, PVD is induced, and then dyes are used to stain this. So we can do an ERM peeling followed by a subsequent ILM peeling, and the pinch and peel technique using the ILM forceps is used. Now there are two dyes which help with this. One is the trypan blue and one is brilliant blue. This selectively stains the ILM and this stains the ERM. The trypan blue that we retina surgeons use is of a higher concentration than the ones used by the cataract surgeons. So ILM peeling can be done in some selected cases to reduce the recurrence rates, especially patients who have a lot of stria. So in those ILM peeling is done and it guarantees complete removal of the epiretinal membrane. So I'll just quickly show you some situations. This was a patient post branch retinal vein occlusion. You see this ERM at the macula. So one drop of dye is enough to stain this membrane. You can see it otherwise also, and then you get, once you stain it, you can see this nice edge of the membrane which is then peeled off. Now the important thing to consider is that it should be peeled gently because these membranes may be attached to the disc, and if you tug at it, you can have bleeders, severe bleeding at the disc. So it should be done very gently, going all around the disc. Sometimes you can just stain the internal limiting membrane. This is called negative staining of the epiretinal membrane. Here you see that the epiretinal membrane is not stained. It's just the ILM which is stained. And then you can pull it off. Again, a case of BRVO, and very gentle dissection is done at the disc. Now, post-uveitis epiretinal membranes may have a very firm attachment to the retina. And every epiretinal membrane behaves a bit differently. So you see this is a more elastic kind of an epiretinal membrane. You have to really pull and tug to get it off the macula, as you see here. It's very elastic, not like the other membranes that I showed you before. I'll just skip over this. Now, epiretinal membranes which are difficult to peel can be removed along with the internal limiting membrane. So here I'm trying to get an edge of the epiretinal membrane, but this patient has a macular hole and I'm not very clear where the membrane is ending. So we can get a grasp of the internal limiting membrane and pull it off. And then once the ILM comes off, the epiretinal membrane automatically comes off along with the ILM. So this is a very good technique when you're not very sure where, or if it's a very adherent epiretinal membrane, you can just peel the ILM from a different area and the ERM comes off along with it. Now in diabetic membranes, you can use your cutter itself. So here's a membrane at the macula. You can use the cutter. There are two pegs of attachments here, and then you have to go find an area where it is not attached to the retina. You can dissect in between and you get these two pegs now. And very carefully using the cutter itself, you can get it off. But you have again to be careful that you don't pull at this area where it is attached to the main vessel. And this is how it is removed easily. So this is a case of post-trauma epiretinal membrane. This patient had a vitreous hemorrhage. And once we remove the hemorrhage, you see this big epiretinal membrane, a very thick membrane at the macula, which cannot be pulled off with the forceps. So here again, you need to use the cutter to dissect this membrane. Similar to the diabetic membrane, you get an area where it is not adherent to the retina, and then you cut it and remove it with your cutter. So in patients of retinal detachments with a PVR, there is generally an epiretinal membrane present at the disc, and unless this membrane is removed, the retina will not settle. So in PVR cases, you should go to the disc, look around there, you'll find a thick membrane. And once this membrane comes off, the retina falls back, and then it's easier to do the surgery. So see here, this very thick membrane in a child. Just skip this. So this is a case, my last case, this is a case of a vascularized epiretinal membrane. Patient had a branch retinal vein occlusion. You see how vascular it is. So the patient laser was done, PRP laser was done, and the vascularity did come down after the laser. The patient was also given an anti-VEGF injection, and you see it has become avascular. This is the OCT, pre-op OCT. Now in this, I was anticipating a very difficult surgery, but to my surprise, the membrane came off right when I induced the PVD itself. So here I'm trying to induce the PVD, and while inducing the PVD, that whole thick membrane complex came off very easily, very simply. So the surgery was a very short and sweet surgery. There you see the membrane came off. So this is the pre-op photo of the patient. This is a post-op picture. So as I said, these membranes sometimes the retina may take time to resolve. There's still some amount of subretinal fluid present. I'll just skip the other videos now. So thank you so much, just to show you a few scenarios and how to manage epiretinal
Thank you, Dr.
membranes. Thank you.
Pali.